Hello, everybody. Welcome to Accelerate AI Value with Teradata and Google Cloud. While you settle in, let me introduce myself. I'm Kate Russell. Perhaps you know me from the BBC's global technology show Click, where I've been reporting on the world of technology since 1995. Back then, of course, AI still seemed like a distant dream, a sci-fi concept. Fast forward to today, and AI is as commonplace as smartphones. It's revolutionizing industries and shaping our world. As data professionals, you're at the forefront of this transformation. You're building solutions that drive business growth and enhance customer experience. And the reason you're here today is that you understand unleashing the power of unstructured data is going to be a key part of achieving those objectives. And LLMs, like Google's Gemini, can help extract the value from that data in the form of deep insights and new opportunities. Well, in this session, we're joining forces with Teradata and Google Cloud to explore how cutting-edge technologies like Teradata VantageCloud, Vertex AI, and Google's Gemini are turning AI dreams into business reality. Whether you're a data analyst, engineer, scientist, or simply curious, we've got something for you. Prepare to be inspired by practical insights and real-world demos that showcase the transformative power of AI and will completely change the way you think about deploying it. There will be time for some questions at the end, so feel free to drop a comment in the Q&A section below. And as our way of saying thank you for being here, we'll also be sharing how you can get hands-on with this hot new technology yourself, spinning up an instance to test completely free in under 3 minutes, because we all know that the only way to truly persuade a data geek is to let them explore things on their own. Okay, one final note before we get going. All of the assets and research material discussed today are available to download right now underneath the video window in the attachment section. Okay, time to formally meet our experts. Please join me in welcoming Merlin Yamsi, Lead Solutions Consultant, AI ML COE at Google Cloud, and Janith Graziani, who is Developer Advocate at Teradata. Welcome to you both. It's so good to have you here. What I would like to do is ask you first to frame your experience within the context of this discussion for our delegates watching today. So, Merlin, perhaps we can start with you.
Yeah, my name is Merlin Yamsi. I've been in this technology area for 25 plus years. I used to work at SAP and then I joined Google Cloud 4 years ago. I focus on AI ML, and my goal is really to work with partners. I work with strategic partners to create a co-innovation roadmap, right, where we help them to leverage our Google Cloud services around AI and data, to build their own solutions, and giving them best practices, around AI and data, and providing a lot of insight in this industry. So that's my goal.
That's great, Merlin. Thank you so much. Perfect person to draw back the veil on the Google tools we'll be talking about today. Janith, please introduce yourself.
Thank you so much. My name is Janith Graziani. I am a developer advocate at Teradata, where I focus on creating technical content, speaking at events, developing demos for our developers, with the goal to inspire, to help them evaluate and incorporate new tools and technologies, AI tools, into their tech stacks. So it's a really fun role. At Teradata specifically, lately I've been focused on really showcasing our AI ML capabilities, and that's been a lot of fun.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. We are very lucky and grateful to have you both with us today. So let's jump straight in with Janeth's insight about where Gen AI is delivering the most value and the many ways it can be used to accelerate your ROI.
Thank you so much for tuning in again, and I'm very excited to talk about Teradata and how we integrate with Google, as well as how we're accelerating AI value. I would like to start off with a quick overview of Teradata for those who may not be familiar, and also explain how we integrate with Google. Teradata offers warehouse and lakehouse deployments on various leading cloud providers like Google Cloud. For example, Teradata VantageCloud on Google offers our developers various tools to build end-to-end AI/ML pipelines. From ingestion to deployment, we streamline various processes. Specifically, I do want to highlight our ClearScape analytic functions. These are a set of 150 in-database functions that streamline various data scientists and data engineering workflows, from data exploration to data cleansing, data prep, feature engineering, to model deployment. Now, we also give our developers the flexibility to train their models in the environments that they prefer. For example, we have seamless integration with our partner providers like Google's Vertex AI. Our developers can choose to train their models externally and bring them onto Teradata VantageCloud to deploy at scale. Now, with this quick introduction, I would love to dive into today's main topic, generative AI tools for developers. Generative AI tools, such as our large language models, have an immense opportunity to drive massive transformation at our organizations and our enterprises, specifically because our large language models have the ability to quickly distill structure from unstructured data. Now, unstructured data is information that lacks structure and clear organization. Think about your text files, your voice transcripts, your customer complaints, your emails. All of this data is unstructured, and 85% of the world's data lies in this category. Traditionally, distilling structure from this unstructured data has been laborious, tedious, and expensive. To be able to classify documents, to summarize documents, to label data, to prepare it for additional machine learning processes. The good news is that with generative AI powered by large language models, today we can automate much of the work behind document classification, document summarization, data labeling, really speeding up the process to reach insights and empowering our business to drive business outcomes, as well as giving more developers at your organizations the opportunity to drive an impact at the organization, to make an impact. Not only are we automating much of the work behind traditional machine learning processes, we are also seeing applications, full-fledged applications being built through generative AI. And Andrew Ng, a leading voice in the AI space, also noted this trend. He talks about how now we're seeing generative AI being used to build certain applications that once were built using supervised learning. Supervised learning, also known as predictive AI, is a machine learning technique that uses algorithms and pre-labeled data to predict outcomes and to classify data. Some examples of these applications that have traditionally been built with supervised learning are, for example, customer sentiment analysis applications, where we can feed our models reviews from our customers and we can quickly have our application identify if the review is positive, negative, or neutral. Other applications such as spam filtering applications that quickly detect if an email is spam or not. So with supervised learning, traditionally we'd spend anywhere between 6 to 12 months to build these applications. Today, with generative AI, we are seeing certain applications being built in a fraction of this time. And today, I am very excited to illustrate how all of this works using Google's Gemini and prompt engineering. I will showcase a demonstration where we will take customer complaints, feed them through our large language model, Google Gemini, and we are going to output a summary for each complaint. We're going to analyze the sentiment, and we will also model the topics and offer a strategy for our complaints, how our organization should handle those complaints. So please stay tuned till the end of the talk so that we can run this demo live.
Questions come in about how long it's going to take to start getting actionable insights. And I can imagine lots of people are sitting there thinking, wow, we've got all of this unstructured data. I think in many ways people didn't know what they were going to do with it sort of for the last 10 years or so. So how long do you expect businesses to start getting actionable insights from this technology?
It really depends on the use case at hand and how ready the data is. However, some of the technologies I briefly mentioned in the talk, and we will explore further in the demo, Teradata VantageCloud, Google, Gemini, these technologies are speeding up the process, the traditional processes that we've been using to uncover insights from our unstructured data. And that's really what I want to highlight in this presentation, the opportunity to reach insights a lot faster. So by a significant amount of time, we're speeding up these processes.
And presumably that all feeds into the accelerated ROI scenario, because we're moving towards better insights quicker. I guess that's going to give people a lot of benefits over their competition.
Certainly, yes. If you think about it, the sooner we can reach these insights, the sooner our organizations can come up with strategies to increase revenue, to cut down on spend, to retain customers. That all ties in directly with our ROI.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. Don't forget, you can put your questions in still, put them in the comment section below. We'll have a couple more question breaks before we reach the end. But Janeth has set the scene brilliantly. Now it's time to dive even deeper into the data with a man who has over a quarter of a century of experience in leading digital transformation initiatives. I'm sorry if that makes you feel ancient, Merlin, but we come from the same technology era, so I think I can kind of get away with it.
Thank you, Kate. You're making me old.
We're both old, but that's fine. Good vintage. Please take it away.
So the way we've been seeing the technology evolving this last years is tremendous, really, really tremendous. So, for example, like in the 90s, we knew AI. AI was mostly called expert systems, right? We used to do AI that way. And then in the 2000, we start doing predictive AI, like you said earlier. So since 2017, when Google invented the transformer, things have started to really take off in terms of building new type of AI, which became the generative AI. That was really blown off by ChatGPT in 2022, and start really taking the leads in terms of visibility. But since then, in 2024, we are starting to see emerging a new type of AI, which is called agentic AI. The difference is really between those two are generative AI generate content, so you can ask question and then you get answer, things like that. But agentic AI complement that and then start adding action. So instead of just generating content, you can act, you can reason, and then you can act. You can plan and act, right? So, and this is something that will be driving our future for probably the next 10 years. So as we're seeing today, we will use it as personal assistant, enterprise AI assistant, contextual AI in different manner. So this is something that we'll see going further as we speak. But building a Gen AI application, there is a lot of challenges because an LLM work with the data that it has been trained on, right? So, but when you build a Gen AI application, you need to have update information, accurate and updated information, up-to-date information that is happening maybe now, right? So the model doesn't have that. So you need to find a way to get those data. Also, when you're talking about customer experience or user experience, everyone is different, right? You need to add the contextual information of the user to that, right? So that's something that is not in the model, right? You need to add that to the Gen AI application. And third thing that we see here as a challenge is also developing and operating a Gen AI application. It's making that easy to do, because with the agentic framework that we are currently seeing, you are able to build an application very quickly, and then being able to operate that in the cloud services pretty immediately, right? So making that easy for a developer to build and operate is something that is a challenge that we're trying to solve. So now we've learned a lot from our customer success since the last 2 years that we've been doing Gen AI. And the 4 key factors that we're seeing: first, when you're starting to build an application, there are so many different tools, right? And having a single integrated platform that provide you, your team, optionality of choice, but provide you all the different stack is key. Because sometimes you have to go here and there to find things. It's sometimes very challenging. So one of the key success is really to bring everything together in one integrated platform, but still giving the people the choice to change one or the other, right? Number two is the data. As I said earlier, the data in the model is not always up to date. And the data that you want to use for your own use case is the one that will differentiate you, your solution from others, right? So the data is one of the gold when you build Gen AI application. It's one of the key factor. The number three that we found out is that Gen AI moves so fast that you do something today, tomorrow is obsolete. And you need to really find a way to future-proof your investment, because if you do something today and tomorrow it's obsolete, I mean, it's not easy to manage. So you need to find a solution provider that will future-proof your investment as we go, at every layer anyway. So because otherwise you might have some challenges going forward. And then number four, which is probably something people don't think about earlier, is the enterprise readiness, because people like to try things to make it work, and then enterprise readiness to move into production is to be able to secure, to have governance, to put things around your solution that will make it safe to be used, right? So enterprise readiness will make you go into production in confidence. So these are the four key factors that we see for building an enterprise AI application. So we came up with a very nice maturity level, AI maturity level, which shows where people are in their journey, in their Gen AI journey. So typically at level zero, you usually like curate your data, prepare your data, right, for the AI, for the Gen AI application. And then layer one, you prompt the model. You start selecting the model. You do prompting. So you ask questions, you get responses, you check, you validate, you start building your Gen AI application there. But as we spoke earlier, you start to add your data. You want to start adding your data, right? So this is where you start doing things like RAG, retrieval augmented generation, which allow you to pick the data where it's needed, and then bring that into the prompt, and then query the model. So that makes your data more your responses more accurate, right? And you have many techniques to that you can add on to make that work. And a lot of customers are usually here in their journey. A lot of the solution that we see are level 2 or 3, because the level of implication of RAG could be simple or complex. Maybe you have just a small subset of data. Maybe you have data distributed everywhere. Maybe you want to do like graph RAG. So you start building some very intermediate RAG that makes things look better, right? And then after that, there is what we call grounding, because the response that you get sometimes is not what it's hallucination. There are hallucination in some of the response that you get. And sometimes you want to ground that response into the data that it's validated, right? So that's where you do grounding. And we provide a lot of grounding solution to be able to ground your data, your responses into data that you can use. For example, grounding on Google Cloud and on Google search, for example, or you can ground your data on the Google search. That's one example that we provide. So a lot of customer level 4, but they are still good to go. But one of the things that we find is that when you want to move into production, you need to be able to do evaluation, observability, and LLM ops, right? Because this is what we call operationalizing your solution, your Gen AI solution, because that's where a lot of time people fail, because you have a good solution, but operationalizing it is not easy. So you need tooling to be able to do that. And also one other thing is that we're seeing now more and more is the multi-agent system, orchestrating, building those agents with automating the task, and then leveraging LLM to orchestrate those agents and providing that as a solution. And lastly, which is very close to the previous, is just the fact that here you can add more specific correction or tree of thought on building the prompt, adding more reasoning, right? Because reasoning is something that is new for the LLMs or Gen AI application, because the chain of thought and reasoning is something that, for example, OpenAI launched recently in their latest model, and that Gemini is currently also launching in coming very soon. So this is something that will drive more thoughtful uh, uh, searching information into the Gen AI application. Now, after that being said, we have also built a nice architecture to provide you with, everything that we just spoke, the 6 layer. You can find it in this reference architecture where you have the UX, that's the user interface. You have the prompting, that is the place where you do those tweaking, optimization of prompt, and then you connect to RAG to extract additional data from your internal data. You do serving. This is where the model sits, the Gemini. You can use the classic Gemini model, or you can tune it. You can adapt it. You can distill. You can do distillation, or you can do other type of optimization of the model before using it, right? So that's what we call tuning the model. And then you can build multi-agent system below, and then you have observability, evaluation, etc., grounding, enterprise readiness, integration to the backend office. And then security is like getting input and output data checks, right? Making sure that the data that you get in, you get out, have been checked. Safety checks, right? To make sure that you're not spilling, crazy data. So that's in a nutshell the architecture. So now at Google Cloud, we provide this integrated platform, which is our Vertex AI generative AI platform, which allow you to leverage all the different pieces, right? You have the model in Model Garden, which is open to any type of model. That's the openness I was talking about. You have the model Vertex AI model builder to be able to adapt to the tuning of your model before using it. And then you have Vertex Agent Builder to build agent, right? To start building, orchestrating applications and things like that. On top of that, we have also built our own agent that we provide for Google Cloud, for Workspace, and then any customer or partner can build their own agent. So this really brings us the model which really shows the model is important, right? It's the baseline, but it's not the only thing. But you need to have a very strong model that will have a continuous improvement. I was talking earlier about making your solution future proof. This is where we keep adding more and more features in this model, and it grows with all the features. Today we are launching Gemini 1. We have Gemini 1.5 available, Gemini 1.5 Pro Flash, which are two different models. One is really for cost efficient. You want to make it fast, and the other is more like very safe in terms of accuracy, but it's a little expensive. But yeah, you can treat between these two. And then we also have open model like Gemma, right, that you can use for building open source application. So this is the model. And security, we have a very secure platform where your data never leave, your perimeter, right? Everything you do, your data is there, so there's no leak. So that's really make enterprise security critical, because when you build your general application, one of the fear of the people is like, oh, where is my data going, right? So the way we have designed our platform is really taking care of data governance, data security, and privacy to protect completely your environment. Okay, the last part I wanted to elaborate here is the data, operational data, because typically when you have the foundation model and the GenAI app, the one critical part is the operational data, right? And that operational data is typically driven, used by almost all the personas that will be building or composing your GenAI app, from data scientist to the developer, the data analyst. So everyone touches, the operational data. And the operational data will be the core of your application. And there are three main features that are needed here. Vector embeddings, to be able to do similarity search, fast search. This is what we call fast search in the GenAI world. Being able to access to the AI, to the models, uh, like to provide some of the insight directly from the data, and then natural language interface, right? Those are the three main services that we need as you're building your operational data, and then you can access to the Gemini and backend or any type of model that are available in the model garden. And then you have also different tooling around to play with, right? And then you build your use case. And that brings us to this architecture that we've been using with our partner, like with Teradata, where the partner will bring those database or those data analytics, right? And then connect to our AI platform and insight, right? And then leverage our governance and infrastructure stack to build their own services and solution on top, right? And we're also using the same platform to build our own agent, our own services on top. So in terms of working with partners, we have partners, we open to partners at every layer, like hardware, models. We support almost every type of models, tech partners, application service partner. And Teradata is covering two segments, application and technology partner. And then we've been working with Teradata to bring to market that solution that we will see a demo right now.
Thank you so much. We're going to actually jump in with a quick question before we get to that demonstration. I'm so glad that you've kind of like really brought a full picture of how the partnership works between Google Cloud and Teradata. We have a question from somebody in the audience who says, where do you recommend starting for someone who's completely new to AI tools and wants to explore some of the Google tools that you've been talking about today?
Yeah, so we have, let's say, two personas, right? If you are just like a business user, we have a set of agents that you can just go and use to augment, to assist you in building your solutions or your work or doing your work. We have a assistant for that. We have a few like Codas Gemini for Google Cloud, Gemini for Workspace, that help you use your typical day-to-day work. And then we also, for developers, we have the Vertex AI Studio, and then we have the Google AI Studio, which are two tools. And you will see at the end, we have a link for that, where Google AI Studio is for general developer. You want to start for free, you just need an account, a key, you go and test the models, and then you start building stuff, right? And then when you're ready with your building stuff, then you start moving into the enterprise. You go to the Vertex AI, because that's where you will have all the end-to-end tooling for really having your solution in production.
Absolutely brilliant. Perfect. And then one final question before we move on to that promised demo. How do you see AI impacting the future of work, and what skills will be essential for professionals to thrive in this new era?
Yeah, that's a brilliant, that's a good one. So typically, I see AI as, we are seeing AI as augmenting people's work, right? We don't want AI to compete with us. It's really about augmenting our work. And AI will be able to automate a lot of the tasks that we typically do, but it takes time. And AI will be able to simplify, automate that, and make it, very easy for us to move to the next step, next layer. So AI as an impact will be like automation, assistant, and really helping us to do things more easily, right? And then the people need to adapt on the skill side, because that's the key part. Because adaptation is really one of the things that we are seeing resistance. You need to adapt. You don't see AI as a challenge or as an enemy. You need to adapt and embrace AI to do your work as you go. So those things will be the main challenge we will see going forward. But people need to adapt to that.
It's really about attitude, then, isn't it? And about actually accepting the role of AI as being something that will actually enable you to do all of those niggly things that you want to do that you never have time to get done. Perfect. Well, listen, let's crack on with the demonstration. We promised you a demo, and it's time to fulfill that promise now. And we have the absolute best person for the job, so no complaints here. We'll save those for Janeth's demo. Take it away, Janeth.
You can actually access this demo by heading on over to teradata.com/experience. Here you will be able to create a free account on our online learning site powered by Teradata. Once you sign in, you will be taken to this dashboard that makes it very simple to spin up environments on Teradata Vantage. You simply input your environment name, the database password, and select the region closest to you. Once your environment is up and running, you can begin ingesting the data. Using these credentials, you can ingest the data, you can transform data, build your models, use the 150 in-database analytic functions, and take our AI ML engine for a spin. For this demo, we are going to select Run Demos. This will open up a hosted Jupyter Lab on a separate tab, giving you access to over 200 use cases in Jupyter Notebooks across different industries. Here you can filter by industry, analytic function, or by your cloud provider. Let's select our Google Cloud provider. And here we can see other Jupyter Notebooks available for us to explore. For today's demo, we will search and select the Customer 360 demo, the Python version. And before we dive in, I always like to start with a hypothetical scenario. Let's suppose we work for a large bank organization that uses Customer 360 Data Manager to manage their user information. Now, Customer 360 is a CRM that unifies customer information, user information under one ID, as well as one profile, just making it really convenient for our organizations to manage their user information. Our bank wants to increase customer satisfaction and to retain their customers. To do this, they have asked us to analyze the customer complaints that are coming in through an online portal. So today we're going to combine Teradata Vantage, Google, and Gemini to surface insights a lot faster and enable strategies. We are going to take our customer complaints, feed them through our large language model, and output summaries for the complaints, topics for the complaints, as well as sentiment analysis, and even a strategy for how to handle each customer complaint. Let's get started. We begin by first importing the specific dependencies. For this demonstration, we're only importing our Google Generative AI within this Jupyter Notebook. We then import the specific packages, like our pandas package that will allow us to use data frames to quickly iterate and append columns, as well as our Teradata ML library. This is Teradata's Python library that enables us to connect to Teradata Vantage systems, and it also gives us access to our over 150 in-database analytic functions, as well as we're also importing our generative AI package from Google that will allow us to communicate with our Gemini family of large language models. And now that our environment is set up, we can connect to our Teradata Vantage environment that we set up earlier. To do this, we use the create context function. We pass in our host URI and our username, which can be found in your ClearScape Analytics dashboard. We input our host URI, username, and our password. So make sure you save your password when you create your environment. Once we're logged in, we can begin the demonstration. For this specific demo, we have been provided with data in a Google Cloud bucket. It's Customer 360 sample data. We have two options here. We can ingest the data locally onto our Teradata Vantage environment, and that will take up space. Or we can leave the data in Google Cloud where it resides. We do not have to move it to analyze it, and we can just use a foreign table to read this data. I will choose to read the data using our foreign table. That way we minimize data movement. Now, before we begin the exploration of our data set, let's set up our API keys. If you don't have an API key yet, you can retrieve one from Google AI Studio or through Vertex AI, and we will include the links to those sources at the end of this presentation. Now, the next thing to do is to define the Gemini model we want to work with. For this specific demonstration, I want to test out the latest, Gemini 1.5 Flash. I hear that it has a very generous request per minute. I believe it's about 1,000 requests per minute, and a context window of 1 million. Correct me if I'm wrong, Merlin, please.
That's
And
right.
awesome, thank you so much. And we're now ready. Our connection to Teradata has been established. We have selected our model. We have input our API key. Now we're ready to explore the data set we're working with from our bank. So here we're using the Teradata ML data frame module function to create a quick data frame to preview our data set, our customer 360 data. And here you can see that we have details about our customers, such as their name, the city, the state, and information about their specific banking account, correct? We can also load our Customer 360 complaints data set and preview that information here. And here you can see that we have another table with consumer complaint narrative. This is where our customer complaints are housed, as well as information such as the date we received these complaints, the product that the complaints are about, and a column for the customer ID, which connects our data set to our Customer 360 details. Now, what we're going to do here, we're going to take our complaints data frame and we're going to append 4 additional columns actually. To do this, we will convert our Teradata ML data frame to a pandas data frame to quickly append our 4 columns. We're going to append a column for sentiment, topic, and summary and strategy. So here is our pandas data frame. And you can see here that we have 4 columns for sentiment, topic, summary, and strategy. So now the next thing to do here, we're going to use our Gemini large language model to iterate through every row in our customer complaint narrative column. And we are going to append the results to the respective row for sentiment, topic, summary, and strategy. To do this, it's very simple with a little bit of prompt engineering. As a reminder, prompt engineering is the meticulous crafting of instructions to guide our large language model's output. And for this specific simple demonstration, we're going to build 4 prompts. 1 prompt for sentiment, 1 prompt for topic, 1 prompt for summary, and strategy. And all of these prompts follow a similar format. They all begin by providing context to our large language model. As you can see here, I am telling the large language model, the following is text from a review. And then I pass in the specific text. I will be iterating through the entire consumer complaints and passing those into our large language model. I also instruct the large language model to categorize the review as one of the following: positive, negative, or neutral. And I provide additional instructions to guide the output. Then we invoke the large language model using generate content, pass in our prompt, we parse the output, and we append it to the respective row for sentiment. We follow the similar format for generating our topics, for generating our summary. Our summary is a simpler instruction. The following is text from a bank review. Summarize the bank review in one sentence. A very simple prompt, right? And even our strategy. For our strategy, notice here that we are using predefined instructions. We're telling the large language model to suggest the best course of action for the bank from the following set of actions. So it can select from these predefined actions. And we're now ready to clean our data and join it to our customer details. So what we're doing here, we're just stripping out any white spaces from the outputs of our large language models. And we're combining our complaints data to our customer data, which is still in a Teradata ML data frame. We first have to convert it to pandas and then join it to our customer complaints data frame to bring together all of our customer 360 data with the analysis from our large language model. And now we can preview our combined data frame. As you can see here, we have quickly combined our customer 360 data, our customer details, with our customer complaints, and we now have one unified view with all of our information. We have the complaint ID, the customer ID, the sentiment that the large language model has identified, the topic, and the summary of each complaint, as well as the strategy that the large language model, using our prompt, using our guidance, is directing us to take for this customer complaint. And this really is the end of the demo to demonstrate how quickly and efficiently we can now surface these insights, these strategies that before would have taken us weeks, maybe months to do, maybe longer. Yeah, thank you so much.
And now I believe Merlin, you have got some. You're going to round that off for us.
Yeah, so this is the very nice demo. So we work with Teradata to really bring this demo to life, but it's not just like a demo, because this could be used as a solution really to for any customer that want to do complaint analysis, right? This complaint analysis, as you saw in the demo, simplification of the signal, right? Getting the data signal, the process of putting that insight into at the end of the pandas. This process in the past would have taken you maybe days, right? Now with GenAI, you can see that in a matter of minutes, right? You can have that process filled up. So simplification of the process to generate trusted signal. That's number one. Number two is really acceleration, right? Now that you have those type of features, you can accelerate the deployment of those trusted signal in your business process in your enterprise, right? So it's not just a demo. The demo shows you the way to do it, but frankly, it's something that could be used to make that even more enterprise ready and provide a clear solution for users. So the architecture that you see here, combining the Teradata and the Google Cloud, is really it's terrific. It's just you can take this architecture, you can add your own in your own business process, right? And then you can build your applications. You see here the Teradata trusted data and VantageCloud, all the different data that you can use, like chat, voice, text, transcript, document. Thanks to Gemini multimodal, because Gemini is multimodal, we can manage text, code, images, video, and voice, right? You can take that in the context. Bring that in the context, in the same context of the customer, and create those analytics, sentiment analytics, complaint classification. You build those insights, and then you link that to your customer 360, which was shown in the demo. And then after that, you can build any workflow, application B, application. You can build so many different apps. So this is really the key of the better together story between Teradata and Google Cloud, simplifying that process and getting you to market very quickly. So this is This is really, really important. And we are doing that thanks to the Google Cloud differentiator. Teradata has this massive analytics platform. What we added is typically the multimodal reasoning, AI reasoning of our Gemini. We have also our grounding, which help also to make the data accurate. And then the Vertex AI integration platform, which will make that solution ready for business, ready to be launched, and not just a demo, right? You have those three, with those three components, you can really take that to the next step. From the Google side, from the call to action from the Google side, it's really about getting to try you are a developer or a business person, you can try those things, right? You have an AI studio, you have Vertex AI for developer to try the models, and then you also have some of our Gemini assistant, right, for Google Cloud and for Workspace. You are a business user, you can just go and try it, right? So these are the two things that can be tried today.
So there are several things that have really struck me about the presentations today. First of all, this get stuck in and try it yourself attitude. I remember back when I first started reporting on technology, if you even put a screwdriver anywhere close to anything to open it up and have a play yourself, you would void all your warranties, and that would be the end of everything. But it does seem to me like the technology that you've been talking about today, Janeth and Merlin, really, it does allow us to have the freedom to get stuck in and try things, but the speed at which you can do these laborious sort of information finding, it's really quite incredible. One of the things that I would like to explore just really quickly before we close up is to talk a bit more about, Merlin, you mentioned the concept of where's my data going, right? We've got all of these restrictions on sort of data privacy and security, and you can't just be sending your especially unstructured data, because you don't know what's in it. That's half the point of it. So can you just expand a little bit more on that, the benefits of bringing the AI to your data rather than the other way around?
Mm. Yeah, so that's exactly the point where the slide that you saw earlier, where we keep your data at where it is, right? So that you don't expose those risks, those data, because you can have PII information, you can have a lot of secret information in your data. So the way we do that is we have our classic base model that is running in our infrastructure, and then we have that adapter layer that will help you to adapt that base model to a different distillation model, or that you can then run in your environment where the data sit, so that you can process the AI. You're still leveraging the AI, still accurate AI, still powerful AI, but you're running that in your own environment, because you can have those distillation and those adapter layer, which allow you to do that. Right, that's the key of enterprise readiness. It's not just word; it's really about securing your environment and making sure you're running where you want to run.
Absolutely. Well, we are running out of time, and but I would like to give you both the opportunity, because we've obviously talked about a lot. Janeth, your demonstration was brilliant, and I have to say I'm very impressed. Technology actually demonstrating as it should, every time you ask it to. And that's another thing that we didn't used to get in the old days. But I'd like you to both reflect on what we've spoken about today, and if you could just take one thing that you want our delegates to remember from this session or take away from this session, what would it be? Janeth, we'll start with you.
Yeah, definitely. I think if I can send a message to our developers, our data scientists, our data engineers, our developers, full stack developers, encompasses everybody, is to recognize the huge opportunity we have with large language models to make a greater impact in our organizations. We have so much unstructured data, and we have the ability to quickly, efficiently discover insights from our data. So there's just a lot of opportunity waiting for us at our organizations to make a difference. So I hope that the demo here inspires, other developers to want to check it out, try it out on Teradata's ClearScape Analytics experience, sign in and go through the demo, swap the data set out with your own data set and see what you can do.
Perfect. And how about you, Merlin? What's your big takeaway?
Yeah, to say that Gen AI is real. It's not just we've been talking too much, last year or the year, but Gen AI is moving into production. Customers are using it, right? You can go and leverage the enterprise stack that are available today, right? It's ready to go, and you can, work with partners like Teradata to really bring to life solutions. Yeah, that will really help you drive a lot of things that used to take you months in minutes, right? That's kind of the one thing that I want them to keep in mind. Simplifying your life with AI is real. It's real.
Yeah. It's about the attitude,
Yes.
definitely. Thank you so much, both of you. I'm afraid that's all we have time for today, but I hope you watching at home or in the office have found it insightful. Thank you for spending time with us. You are probably itching to try the demo for yourself. So here's how you can do that on screen right now. It's free of cost and obligation. Just hop on, spin up an instance, and have a play with the ClearScape Analytics experience. And then, of course, if you're into the Google demos and you want to try those out too, then you can head along and try those out. The general dev Google AI Studio and for enterprise Vertex AI Studio. You're going to be busy, aren't you? All these demos to try. All of the information that you need to access those demos and other assets from this session are available to download right now down beneath the video window. You can also still leave a comment, get in touch with our people. If you've got any further questions, we'll always try and reach out to you and answer those. All that is left for me to do is to thank our amazing speakers, Janeth and Merlin, and the technology for behaving as we expected it to. Thank you for sharing your time and expertise, both of you. And of course, our webinar hosts, Teradata, for connecting us all here today. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.